Welcome to Onivia Highlights. These are the best highlights from the LCK Spring 2025.
Disengage, but there was also not really a great way to reliably lock down Smash as Lahans and Gideon.
Right. Yep, they're looking for an angle here as Smash could be the target. There's the headbutt, double pulverized from Lahans as Gio just not really able to do anything because Owner's making his way forward. He picks up a Poppy and looks to see whether he can get rid of him, and there is first blood, and it goes to the Zeri. Flash forward here from Owner. They are not done yet. But actually they are, because Nongshim will make it to their turret still. The push is going to...
A Zeri is always hard. Smash also has Ghost, so between Ghost and Heal, even with the double knock-up, not quite going to be in range. Just another attempt at the play.
We're going for it one more time. That's another double pulverize, getting the flash this time out of Smash.
That's good. Good play.
Yeah, well played.
Gio has not been hitting these arrows, as Doran might be in trouble again.
Yeah, doesn't have flash this time around, so he's just going to get booped around like a ragdoll, and Gideon going to help Kingen grab his first kill of the game. And he'll get some plates for his trouble as well. They answered. First Dragon hasn't even been looked at here 10 minutes into the game, as Kingen is just wandering around being frustrating. Owner making his way in though, as Doran kind of giving it away. Misses the last needlework there, as we can see. So Kingen
missing Kingen.
All right, he's feeling pretty safe. Does have the flash, elects not to use it, as he does then jump over, but the seismic shove comes in, and of course he is just going to die. T1, with the help of Faker, are able to grab their second.
Big mistake there by...
That's what Jisun has.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Nope. She is also always in our heads telling us what's going on. As the first Dragon of the game taken, what, like... Again, I think the matchup is really rough. But I also do think that at this point in the game, being almost 1,000 gold behind without really any intervention is not where you want to be as Lahans.
Yeah, Faker going to look for him here as he holds the seismic shove for a really long time. Gets turned into a little snowman, which is adorable, and keeps his cool. Holds onto the flash.
That's
Faker
big.
takes a big Q there from Gio at the same time, as Doran going for it once again. That last needlework not quite going to connect, as Faker is everywhere, but Calyx is still going to kill this turret no matter what he does. Let's see whether Faker can finish him off. The answer is no, because there is a Sun Disc being put up.
The objective first is a really big deal. Look at the zone control to come through here, but there's no Leandris yet on Calyx, so he doesn't really bother Owner too much.
Yep, and you've got Gio now positioned in the mid lane. Doran on a flank angle as the rest of Nongshim just going to move down to welcome him to this fight. It might give Owner a bit of an angle here, as Shock Blast will be avoided. The rest of T1 just not wanting to overextend. The ebb and flow here as Calyx looks for a flank angle. He is spotted, and remember, there are rocks, so he can't just use that shifting sands with impunity. Gio now continuing to get some control here as Smash comes down to collect the wave. And Nongshim still holding on to this one, but it should be a 50-50 as he just gets rid of him. And that is just going to be a bit of a burst onto this Rift Herald, as there it is, it's stolen by Owner. Not going to be able to pick up this Azir with the Impale, and now Gio comes on over Carrier. Gonna have to get himself out of there as Lahans does have the ulti, and back in he goes! Oh! Smash gets taken by this Azir, but it's still feats of strength going over to T1. Gideon in a lot of trouble, as well as Kingen. Gonna have to try and get out of there, but Faker, there is no way out for the chase. And now Owner is running from Calyx, but he's got a blast cone, and Faker says, get out. Here's a wall, and step behind it, and they do so.
Carrier, Smash goes over the wall, the flash pulverized to take one of the biggest damage, and then, oh,
Gio's just dead. Faker is just going to murder him underneath his own turret.
We don't even get, Lahans. This kill on Gio that, oh my guy.
Yeah, what are we doing?
Yeah, just walked up to cue the cannon. Gio's
Arakan is going to spawn. It's of the voracious variety, because we do not have very much action so far this game. And Lahans is going to have his back stopped, and maybe he is just dead. He does have his ultimate, so it might be that one that needs to be pressed first, but he doesn't even want to do that.
I feel like he should have.
Yeah, I'm going to say that that was an unforced error.
Now
this area, and now with the Leandris, they have a lot of DPS to try and take this one down as well. No vision given over, as
Gideon has his ult.
Got a teleport coming in from the Gwen as Lahans gets on top of Smash. The heroic charge comes down, and that is a piercing arrow to execute the Zeri. They're now losing so much of their DPS in this fight. As now King in positions behind his team, and we're flipping. We are going to land the Chains of Corruption, and there goes the jungler in support. They'll take the voracious Otacon. Calyx grabs his second against Doran, and Nongshim destroy the team fight.
All part of Lahenz's long-term plans, Atlas.
Oh, there it is.
Bait them into a false sense of security by dying, then make sure that they go up the...
As Gideon's going to have to flash to get out of the way of that one. Activating Hex Flash may be a positive. Now Doran gets into the mist. I don't know about this one as they evict the jungler, and Gideon is just going to say that is time for us to take the outer turret.
That was actually really funny. So Doran used the mist, so I could see a scenario where they don't really use the range to the maximum potential, just kind of run in. But they do get the dragon, and that's a really big deal.
Yep. I think the thing that's impressed me the most is how they've shut down Doran so effectively. Even there is some vision here for T1, but they're just over the wall.
They're not clued into this at all. You don't see any pings. It's a T1 Baron! And they're getting T1'd!
Oh, look at all of the vision that they avoided.
It's gone!
It's just gone. It's just gone. They are masterminds. They are using T1's strategies against them. Now they're going to get the idea of what's going on, but there goes the Baron, and Lahan says, Owner, get the heck out of here. They might lose their Alistair, but I don't think they're too worried about that one, as goodbye Gwen. And the Impale is going to skewer him, but I mean, you can eat a kebab, but you're not going to win this game. I got to stop making the steak references. I really do.
I just needed the second to parse that one. I'm like, what? Kebabs? That's too expensive for a kebab, okay? Are you giving up a Baron? That's not worth.
That's the Wagyu kebab right there. But yeah, no, top side.
Ooh. And as you highlighted, I do think that we talked a lot about Faker Dust. I think this game he has been having a great impact on Celia. A lot of impact in side lanes, looking a lot cleaner.
They're getting engaged on. There's a free double pulverize there as Doran pulls himself over. Seismic Shove doesn't get Gideon over the wall as he flashes away. Some knockouts coming on through here as Smash has already grabbed a kill, and Ona, he comes on in, but Lahenz has got an unbreakable will, and he's basically immortal. Kingen gonna take down the Scorpion and gets rid of Smash. Still, they're able to take down this Jason. Every kill that T1 gets is worth so much more because they're getting rid of the Barons.
Means that locking in Kinga means that he ends up dying. I think Calyx was actually looking for more there.
Whoa! Gio, what are we doing? We are baiting out the enemy team as they push Owner in.
It's a trap!
Billy's looking for Gio, and maybe this is why Gio is playing like a plastic bag for the early game, to set up for the greatest bait of all time.
Well, he fooled us, so of course he also fools T1.
All right, well, Calyx has got out of there and in there at the same time. Still
a second Infernal Drake happens.
Yeah, second Infernal going to go over. They're going to move on over. There is a Scry's Orb just to make sure that they're not taking this Baron down. And Calyx and Gideon take that as an invitation. Lahenz, he could be the target. He does have to use the ult to get out of the Impale. Flick back there as well as they are committing to this Baron. Doran's getting over there, but I don't know whether they're going to be able to do this in time as Owner is relatively low and they're still on this Baron. Owner is going to have to flash out, but there goes Calyx, and it's Smash that's being the hero. The Baron will be locked down by Nongshim, and now they really want to get out of there. Oh, that wild growth from Carrier says no to King, and Jiu's on the wrong side of the map. Gideon, the last Baron left standing as he's going to get the flick. There goes the kill, and T1 right back in the driver's seat.
They clean aced them! That's game!
That should just be game over.
Ah!
Okay.
Not even close, Atlas.
Yeah,
this was...
They were in control the whole time.
All along. There was no worry whatsoever.
Nope.
I did not expect the Infinity Edge power spike to be that big a deal. As, they do not...
Well, actually tanking a little bit.
It's too much.
I don't think Calyx is going to be able to kill this minion wave.
Well, you will.
And they got 5 grubs.
There's the next one, right? The next one is Kongan in. That's just it.
Yep. They're just going to be able to execute these turrets. Down goes the Nexus as well, and T1 just ripped victory from the jaws of defeat in game 1. I don't think that a lot of success on in the past, but it was often in Kalista lanes. So we would often have a whole lot of extra pizzazz to play around post.
Imagine how to trade. I was about to say, if he hits the chain.
Yeah, and he does. That's the solo bolo! And the flash down for Doran.
We saw Owner, mostly paying his attention towards the bot lane as...
Oh, God.
There's no flash.
It's going from bad to worse, ladies and gentlemen, as Doran's level 3, and he's just dead. Gideon, was that like a level up? Or no, he got the
Map, so we'll see if he can fix the wave, but so it's also because with Silas, once you get enough ability haste, like the chain is basically just not on cooldown.
Oh god, if he lands another chain, and it could be all over, as Owner is coming on up, and Kingen not overextending. Oh, unless he is. Yeah, he is. He's just going to get executed. Owner comes in and takes that one as a freebie. Maybe a bit of an overextension there. Repel going to avoid the snare coming on through from Carrier, as Doran with the nod just flashes on top of Kingen. Can he get the ult off? The answer is yes, as Doran's tanking it up and will go down. A 1-for-1 under the bottom outer turret.
You'll take that if you are Kingen, Doran.
And Calix is lying in wait as well, so 5 grubs going to be the answer. The arrow goes entirely wide, as there is a cocoon to interrupt the bullet time. Ona now getting a bit of a heal as the knockup comes through with the Pop Blossom. Still the heroic charge not going to be enough, and Carrier will be the answering kill. Calix grabs that one, and there's a Justice Punch onto Faker. Lahen's looking for a little bit more, as they want to take the Realm Warp out, as the taunt doesn't work. And Faker gets everyone to safety. Apart from
Take another look here.
Oh, right on the edge of the taunt.
Yep.
My goodness.
If he gets tagged by that, they probably all die. And the game is looking very differently. Instead, it is a still 6, like Nongshim still won that, right? 6 reps for them. They end up getting the dragon as a
pesky minions. They're in a bit of an awkward spot. Lahen's going to turn up though, and they're looking to play aggressively. They will get the cleanse out of Smash immediately. Cocoon going to land there as well, as Juice just walking at him. Frost shot going to connect. The volley's going to land as well, and there is nothing they could do about it. That's a huge knock from Kingen, who's just diving the turret. Ulti going to miss, as Kingen will go down in the 1v1. But Owner now will find Gideon, and that's going to even it out for T1. They'll take a little bit more. Wind becomes lightning. There's a nice little heal there from Gideon, as he's just fighting as best he can, but the damage is going to be there from Owner. Carrier now pushed underneath his turret as Calix and Faker.
Oh, it doesn't spot.
Yeah, all right. We'll see whether Kingen's going to be able to ward them off.
Tough.
He really wants someone to pick up turret aggro before he throws out the ulti, but there's Smash with an ulti of his own. He finds it.
Chains!
As Smash gonna have to flash for it, and he does pick up the kill. I don't think he had to flash for it. Maybe that I said that wrong. However, he did flash for it, and it did result in a kill. Still, outer turret falls on the top side of the map. T1 going to be able to grab the outer on the bottom side, but if this inner turret goes down, Nongshim are going to win out on the play. Still, they're able to defend, and Gideon is able to take the Rift Herald, as Lahen's taking a lot of damage. Teleport in from Faker is going to get him towards this top side. There goes the spider, squished like a bug. But still, it is the Galio being able to make it out relatively safe. I say safe, as they do get the taunt onto Faker here. Pop Blossom comes out from Carrier, who was pretending to be Owner there. The arrow is going to connect. Now Faker's in trouble, and Gideon, with the ulti running, is seeing what he can get done here. There's Kingen to lock down the first one. Chains land onto Owner. Smash taken down as well. Kingen, an absolute monster on this Silas. And Doran cannot catch up here, as Carrier going down exceptionally low, or at least looking like he did as he was transformed. Still, Calix is going to fall, and Doran looking to try and get out. Wind just barely not becoming lightning there. And Kingen, you can see, just desperately wanting to get another one.
CC from Calix in this whole sequence ends up being, I think, one of the big reasons why it's even close. Smash ends up going down. And the fact that Carrier doesn't die is a big deal, as now we're not done fighting.
Yeah, Ona lying in wait. We've got a Rift Herald coming down as well, as it is going to be Gideon controlling the ulti, controlling the dragon, sorry. Now they're going to have to possibly get themselves out of here. Let's see whether they can. It's Pop Blossom from Kingen going to come on through. Down goes Doran before he can do anything at all. And T1, I think it's probably just time to cut your losses and get out of there. Lahen's is looking juicy, but I don't think T1 are going to be able to do too much more. Just controlling the mid lane as best they can. Cocoon going to land. Lahen's, I don't know about this. Gideon also very, very low. As the Hawk Shot coming on through, and we've got some backs being channeled.
Nongshim are not afraid. Oh, he does get the cancel on the back. That is nice. Means Faker, but on back, he's still at 2 items. So is it just gone?
Well, it's down to 4,000 health. They're focusing it, and yeah, I don't know whether Owner's going to be able to get it here. He does, and he steals it away. Highway robbery here from T1 is now Gideon gets the, Kingen gets the flash in. They take down the Nico immediately. There's the knock up onto Faker. He is completely taken out, and now Lehens, he will be taken by Doran, but Faker is still in trouble, and there is the taunt to finish him off. Doran goes down as Chiu gets his hands on this Gnar, and over the wall comes Calix, or at least he tries to, not going to be able to there, and they'll settle for a kill under the misfortune. Only Owner left standing. How many of...
That was the display from King and sets up the fight. A 3-man ultimate.
And with the Otacon little wall there, I think it also stunned Owner.
He did, yeah. That's
these pedals.
They're basically even. Nongshim, I'm pretty sure, is also, or was also, at exactly 26.
All right. So not exactly end of the world as in comes Owner, and they are just going to kill Lehens. He does repel, gets on Omega Blast Cone, and never mind, they don't kill Lehens, they try to kill Lehens. And Lehens says no. As there's a taunt on to Carrier here, who's dead. That's a colossal smash to the noggin, and instead of Lehens being dead, it's Carrier who's dead. Ah, right, yeah, that's actually a really good game plan. Mind control them into taking the Baron. It's Lehens
working.
Possibly in trouble. Smash could be in the wrong spot now, though, as Faker is realm warped in. Gideon engages on top of him. The rest of T1 a little bit too far away, though, and down goes the jungler. Arrow also gonna narrowly be hopped here by Doran. And Kingen is in the mid lane, just defending here at the same time. Yeah, there's no smite here anymore. Owner cannot smite when he's dead, ladies and gentlemen. This is what I'm discovering.
That was the game plan!
Oh god, Kingen also has a Gnar ultimate here. It's going to be really dangerous if T1 go for a counter engage, so the Baron is just gone. The bullet time is an attempt, but it's a failure. And the first Baron, once again.
Or him not being there because he doesn't... he's not live, right? Not able to actually show up to the fight, not having the pop loss.
Oh, Owner thinks that he's found an angle, but instead it's Lehens that cocoons him up. The rest of T1 are turning up, but Gideon is ignoring them. When becomes lightning, Owner is going to get taken down so incredibly low as Kingen finds an ulti. Chiu finds an arrow. He knocks it. He takes down Bristle and Sejuani. And now T1 looking to try and defend their inner turret, but these are baroned up minions. These are 6 grubs, and Nongshim are having none of it.
Atlas, by any chance, have you looked at your hands recently?
Yes. Oh man, it's quite moist. I'm not gonna lie, there is game all over these hands, Chronicler.
Well, it doesn't have to be wet. It could just be game.
It is though. It's really
warm for the Chemtech Soul.
Yeah.
Nongshim might have actually done it this time around, Atlas.
Well, you say that, and you also often say Carrier, so not gonna need to worry about that too much. And T1, they know that they need to fight for this one. In goes Gideon, just deciding to start off the fight. I don't know about that one, as the ulti does come on through, and he does stay alive. But he's going down relatively low. Kingen on a flank angle finds an Gnar ulti once again. He's been so good with these. I think mainly because he likes playing Gnar, and so he's pretty good at it in general. Doran has a Gnar bar in perfect position, though, as Calix gets engaged on. He just goes into his Zhonya's, though. That's going to buy a lot of time here as they take the Soul, and Chemtech Soul is going to help them so much. Look at these health bars already prepared as the Pop Blossom does nothing, but the Gnar does everything from King, and bullet time is just going to get immuned by the 2 members of Nongshim, and the Realm Warp does work, but it just tries to buy time. It just tries to get them out of there, and T1 is still going to die. And we are then going to go to 3 games. Here we are, Nongshim. They find the angle here in game 2.
Nongshim got close in game 1, but it wasn't quite enough. The Baron ended up being their downfall. That start of the fight with Gideon getting chunked, I was worried, but I needn't be, as Nongshim knocking down the Nexus.
There is an ego pick angle. The GP into Sion from Kingen is certainly looking at that, but also it fits. You know, you've got like a lot of these globals and things. You know, following up on any sort of skirmish, Nongshim always need to be careful of the follow-up. Speaking of follow-up, Cannon Barrage coming in immediately as there's the Devour used, but the knockoff keeps them in place. First Blood goes over to the Nocturne. The Flame Chompers with the massive value as it's not quite enough, but Calix comes in. Spirit rushes in, Spirit rushes out, and then dies. Faker going to be able to pick that one up. 2 for 1 in the end, but you'll take that if you're Nongshim.
Protect Jinx.
I think it's
Faker and Smash will just kind of run the fights later on.
Ooh, Carrier face checking Gideon here. He will get a little bit frightened, as we can see. Lahen's turning up as well as the quickness comes down. They do manage to get a chump, but the rest of T1, they're turning up faster, and there's the teleport in as well from the Scion. Flame Chompers will be eaten, and so is Lahen's. As Ono looking to come on over, gets that transformation as the Viego, of course. And Gideon now underneath the turret, but I don't know whether he's out of dodge just yet. Ju is there. And Carrier not going to go in for any more. Smash looking to pick up this minion wave and crash another one forward as Cannon Barrage still there from Kingin.
They need to dive because this is very costly. No one is matching Kingin right now. Faker's on his way, but we'll see if this works.
Yeah, Cannon Barrage. Oh, right on the edge of the queue, and down goes the Nocturne in the blink of an eye. Ono now gets a turn to be the...
That's going to be Feats going over to T1.
Yeah. So turret going to be secured. Upgraded shoes coming on in there. As Lahen's, you can see, really wanting to find an angle. They dive onto Carrier, who does have the gray health, eats it, and still goes down. The train is going to land. Massive double knock-up. Super Mega Death Rocket comes in, but Smash is going to get CC'd by Lahen's. One more auto required, but look at this. T1, they just say, we've got a train, and we will just run you over. No! And you cannot even get it. Oh, no. That is insult meeting injury. That is an ace, and T1 take full control.
Doran actually saving the game there.
Yep. Oh,
that's where
Next
we're at.
Next best is Nongshim plays up to T1, and T1 is still able to put them down. As Faker in this side lane here. Kingin still going to be,
that skill well. There is the Kaisa, which eventually does get to the point where if you can get access to Jinx and Kench isn't near, you can blow her up.
Oh, Kingin's found Doran, kinda. Well, actually, he's taken real damage. In comes the Kaisa to try and help out as well as the barrels are connecting. He just wants to get to a good position, but doesn't have the ulti anymore. As the knock-up comes down, but he is still going to die, ladies and gentlemen. The trial is by fire, and he has not passed. So the Scion is killable. It just requires sort of everyone and a whole bunch of time.
Even gets the cancel on Kingin's back there. Kingin does FTP, and now a vision trap being set up by T1. They're faking an Otacon take.
As Faker does turn up. And
they have to be a little careful
Alex
here.
Away, yeah. Lahen's going to get engaged on, and there's the chain CC. The Rakan nowhere to go, although does at least manage to get an ability off, but that is going to be Ona securing the kill. Turns into a Rakan of himself. And will be able to now look for the Otacon as this outer turret does fall, but the Otacon will do the same thing, and this is going to give them a whole lot more as well. As all of these blood petals come on through, they get all the experience, and all of the Faker is going to be able to avoid barrel damage.
Yeah, we're looking at, Hail Mary barrel, not the player. The ability to do that, but that's normal.
Yeah, and I guess they can probably actually just do that as well. As Kingin, he's gonna try and go for it once again. As
Passive does a lot of damage.
Doran not going to be able to get the ulti to work out as the immediate follow flash comes through. Cannon Barrage says that there is no way Chiu's gonna show up as well. They're investing a lot to kill this Scion, and kill him they will. It's just at what cost? As here in the mid lane, we are going to find out. As Calyx dancing around does manage to take down the minion wave, as the zap is collected by Lahen's pretty diligently. And the steal away on the red buff is going to also conclude.
Getting a creative angle for Nongshim is really hard.
Oh, Kingin just not able to get any of these barrels. Does eat some oranges in order to get out of the way, but that is going to spell the death of the inner turret. So that lane has become even longer.
They're probably just going to give up the Drake and try to play force, because you want to force T1 an uncomfortable position, right? If T1 can just set up,
Lahen's.
You're in deep trouble as that is a lot of damage there, Lahen's. I haven't highlighted this. He won Blood Song.
Interesting.
I feel like he really wanted Celestial with how a lot of this is played out.
Oh, the charm just not really going where it wants to as the Chaos Storm gets every flash under the sun. Kingin gonna be the first to go down, and that, like you said, is just gonna spell the end. Oh, Voidseeker almost killing Ona here, who's still ticking down as there's the paranoia to finish him off. I think it's a one-way trip though, as Gideon trying to get himself out of there. The zap going wide, the knock-up not connecting, and he has the spell shield Oh my goodness, is he out of there? No, Tongue Lash going to come on through. The zap not quite going to work out. And there's the Fear Tether. He sidesteps the next Tongue Lash. And there is a Mega Cone to get him to safety. I think there was a flash in there from Faker and Doran. Roars. Okay, yeah, maybe they're going to be able to get the Drake as Gideon going to Fear Faker. And now he's continuing his merry jaunt. He now knows that he's dead, but that was, you know, he made that choice. And they take the Drake.
They're going to lose Nash, most likely, because Gideon is dead for... As expected, T1 start this up. All the damage dealers are here, though.
Yeah, Cannon Barrage not available just yet. Alex going in, misses the charm, and gets crashed into, or at least Kingin does. He needs to get out of there, but he has no options. Over the wall goes Calyx. Land's going to follow him, but Ona gets over there as well with a Heartbreaker. And now T1 looking for even more. Super Mega Death Rocket just to make sure that they get out of there. And they do so. It is only the Gangplank going down, but he's dead for 40 seconds time. And so that is a 50-50. Still, it's exceptionally dangerous as the charm is going to come through onto Doran.
One-way ticket.
There's the paranoia, and he needs vision. He needs to be able to click on someone to get in. The triple knock up there from Doran as well, as the Baron is now low. In goes Lahan's over the wall, they go. The Baron is still at 1,000 health as Gideon unable to get it because Ona is the king of smites. Calyx able to get himself out, but the fight is well and truly lost. And T1 are going to look to push for the win.
It was Smash!
All right.
How did Smash get it?
Well, maybe because Gideon died. Because they just ignored the Baron. It was really smart stuff there from T1. A swift call to say, we are killing them. We are not going to take down the Baron.
It's the Smash Splash damage, Atlas.
Oh, God.
He got them. Oh, God.
Well, okay. Maybe the game isn't over just yet.
And some dying.
Yeah.
And now that gold lead has gone to a nigh insurmountable level. Although, it's only mid-inhib. I'm trying to cope at least.
Okay, got it.
I got nothing.
I think Doran can actually just walk up, tank all 5 of them and the turret, and then T1 kills the turret.
I thought that on Sign, and it was never true. But they didn't have the rest of T1 backing me up, though. I feel like it might have helped.
Yeah. Just having a look at how many bits of health bar he has, you know? And they're just guarding this siege minion.
So 30 seconds.
To clear out vision where he can. And Doran's doing it. He is making the play. Yeah, where he just walks up, tanks the turret, minions stay alive, and the second inhibitor is going to go down. Nongshim, it's up to them to try and start a fight here. And they it's done, but we need to now take this moment to try and see whether there are any angles, even if there are not. As it's, yeah, 8,000 gold is a pretty big deal, and it's the Jinx mainly that has most of it. 2.8k is really just ludicrous. He's got a GA as well as an extra cheeky BF sword because he can.
You need to get through GA, barrier. Flash will probably be up by the next fight.
Oh man, there's just more and more copium images on the prompter right now.
Oh my God. They're really spamming those.
They really like load them up. As Lahan's just taking a cue for fun.
It's bait! Oh no.
Yeah, well, they do manage to get a charm onto Faker, who just goes golden. Lahan's now just going to get knocked up and taken down. Sometimes you just have a Zhonya's and you're just feeling fantastic as Ona heartbreaks in. Jiu gonna have to flash as Ona gets over the wall and just flashes on top of him. He goes golden as well though, and it's another charm that's looking pretty good. Death's Daughter rains down onto Ona, but he's able to get himself out of there. And Nongshim, they are bleeding. They've lost a Rakan, but they have a few of their tanks, their damage dealers still left alive. But Doran just doesn't take damage. And now Carrier's diving forward. Down goes the Gangplank. Carrier will fall, but he's making the sacrifice for his team. And the GA is procced. The Nexus is exposed, and T1 will be able to take down Nongshim here in our first series of the